What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another video. And in today's video, we're going to be doing a little course on how to price your cleaning services. And we're going to be looking at some cool things here, like this template that you guys can see in the background here. This is going to be something that we're going to be looking through that helps you calculate how much you should be charging for your cleaning services. This is something that you can actually download right now, but you have to join the Power Growth Cleaning Business Group. This is a community that I created for you guys. If you own a cleaning business, you're trying to grow your cleaning business, you're trying to build a company that generates generational wealth for your family, for you, then go ahead and join this Power Growth Cleaning Business Group. The link is in the description, and you can go into the classroom section and then just download this Excel template so you can use it for your own business and kind of learn how to better create pricing for your cleaning services. Okay, and we're going to be looking at this, but I want to start off with some information first so that we are all on the same page. So I'm going to go and move over right over here. And one of the things that I think a lot of people they struggle with when it comes to cleaning business is not even really the pricing itself, or getting to the price itself. A lot of times it's figuring out or having the confidence to charge what you're worth and what you're going to be providing, right? So a lot of times cleaning business owners that are just getting into the game, they're afraid that they're going to give a price maybe that's too high, and they're afraid that the client or the potential client is going to reject them and going to say something like, that's too high, I don't want to do business with you, and whatever. A lot of times people are afraid of charging what they know it's going to take, and so they'll actually cut down the price or discount their services in order to gain a client. And I'm going to show you guys why that's not a good thing for you to do. A lot of times, new cleaning business owners, they overlook things, right? They just don't add things up into the pricing. And so when they do give a price, they end up losing money. And we don't want to give pricing in our cleaning services that makes us lose money, okay? So to get started, I want to make some notes here on some very important things that you should know as a cleaning business owner. One, in the cleaning space, right, in the cleaning business industry, or let's even open that up to the services space, okay? Services in general. Pricing is all over the place. There's no set, set list of pricing that everyone has to kind of compete with. Pricing is going to be all over the place. Some businesses will charge $300 for a cleaning, while other businesses will charge $100 for a cleaning. Some businesses will choose to charge $50 an hour, while other ones have fixed pricing starting at $100 an hour. So pricing, when you approach your pricing for your business, you have to understand that every single company, every single business, every single service that is out there, they charge differently, and they do it on purpose. Even mechanics, right? Or salons, or lawn care, roofing, all that stuff. These are services that are being provided. They all charge differently, which is why people do the price shopping. Now, this isn't necessarily a bad thing. This is actually a good thing, because pricing is all over the place. That means that the person that's actually calling you, the potential client, that lead, there's a big chance that they don't know what the price should be, okay? And this is an advantage. Because there's no baseline of where the price should be, that means that the person calling you doesn't know what the price should be, meaning they're really contacting you for the results you're going to provide them and less about the price that you're going to give them. Let me explain what that means. There's two companies that charge $200 for cleaning services, right? both companies go and clean houses, and both companies have been in the industry for a while. And let's say this client hires two different companies. They both charge the same thing. One provides a very, very great quality service, and the result is phenomenal, and that client is super happy. On the other hand, that other business provides an okay service, right? And the client is like, all right, it's not bad, but it's not that good. Both of these businesses are charging the same thing, but what the client is more happy with is the result that he got with the other business, not with the pricing that he got with the companies. Okay. In other words, it's more what you have to do and focus in your business is more about the result that you're going to be giving and focusing on that, right? What's the result that you're going to get by working with me, and not the price that I'm going to be charging you. And because clients don't know the baseline price of anything, that means that you can get really creative on how you price, and you can price according to how you're going to value your service, not based off of what somebody else is going to charge. Okay, so for example, if someone calls me and says, hey, I need a deep cleaning at my house, and I say, fantastic, give me some information about your home. And then they'll go, oh, it's a 4-bedroom, it's this, there's three bathrooms, it's 3,000 square feet, there's a finished basement, there's this, fantastic, I got all the information. You have pets, you have whatever. I got all the information that I need. And then I go, you know what, based on the information that you gave me, how much we charge for this cleaning would be $550. And then they go, whoa, wait a minute, but my previous cleaner charged me $300. All right, well, if your previous cleaner charged you $300, then why don't you go and work with your previous cleaner that charged you $300, right? Oh, no, they didn't do a good job. It's like, okay, fantastic. Then you're not paying, right? You're paying for the result. If you paid the other company $300 and they didn't do a good job, and we charge you what we are worth, and we can guarantee that you're going to be super satisfied and happy with the product the service that we're going to give you, then that's what matters. Okay. So this is just, we're not touching yet on pricing, but I'm just giving you guys an understanding or an overview on how your perspective should be about pricing, because there is no set pricing. Pricing is based off of value. It's based off of the result that you're giving. It's based off of what you value your service as and what you know you're going to be putting into it. And be confident in what you're going to be doing. Know that if you're going to go out there and you're going to do cleaning and you're going to provide a really great service, then you're going to charge according to what you believe you should be charging, right? Second thing that we need to talk about is don't be afraid of the client. Don't be afraid of the potential client or that lead. Be confident in how you're going to be pricing your services and the price that you are giving to these clients. Confidence is everything, and this is why it's really important. If you let the client or the potential client or that lead, or you're going through a walkthrough and you let that person that you're trying to win as a customer feel that there's any instability in how you price, then they might feel like they can actually negotiate with you and devalue the service that you're going to be providing them, because clients do that, in order to get a better price but also get the same result. And you don't want to do that, okay? So that's why I say a lot of times you have to get very confident in how you're going to be presenting that price. And so for me, when I go and talk to a client or anybody, I always repeat to them basically what the information that they give me. And I always let them know that, hey, for us, based on what the information that you give me, 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, this many square foot, this is what you want. For that scope of work, this is how much you're going to charge. This is how much we charge. And then it's not even a question. It's like, this is how much we charge. And then from right there, I'll just jump into scheduling them. This is how much we charge. We can actually put you on a schedule for tomorrow or even the next day if that works for you. Which time is best for you, and just go from there. Because I'm not giving you a price based off of, you're calling me, you want the result, you want the clean house, I'm going to give you that clean house, but this is how much we charge, right? I'm not asking, I'm never going to talk to the customer and go, is that good for you? I know, this is my pricing, it's what's good for me, and if you're willing to pay my price, and get the result that I'm going to offer you and I'm going to give you, then that's what we're going to do. That's what we're going to work on. Okay, so a lot of this early stuff that we're talking about here is really just about mentality, right? How to approach pricing. Okay, so let's overview that real quick because I know I threw a lot of information out there. So let's just simplify it as much as possible here. Number one is pricing is all over the place. There's no baseline price for services. Every company charges differently, meaning your company pricing might not look like some other company's pricing. And that's okay, and that's a good thing because the client doesn't know what the pricing should be. That means that it's really up to the service and your approach to how you're going to be delivering that quote to that customer. Second, be confident in your pricing. Come up with your services, come up with the service names that you're going to be doing. You know, some people like to call like a deep cleaning, a top to bottom cleaning, or a bottom to top cleaning, whatever it's called. Some people can get creative on that. Be confident, whatever it is that you're going to be doing, be confident in your pricing. Approach that lead and approach that walkthrough and approach that quote that you're going to be sending out with confidence. This is how much we charge. This is what we do. This is what you're going to get. And when are you available? When can we schedule you? By doing that, you're cutting out any possibility of that client even negotiating with you or even trying to. And if they do try to negotiate with you, say, no, this is how much we charge, right? Don't devalue your service and the result that you're going to be providing that customer because they want to pay you a price that you know you're not worth, right? So those two things are very important for us to understand when we're approaching our pricing, okay? Having said that, let's jump into the overall approach to how pricing should be for your cleaning service, okay? So I'm going to pull up my little tab here. I want to write down some things. Let's see if this is on. I have a writing tablet here, but I actually might just type it out, but we'll see. Let's try this. All right, so the approach that I have when it comes to pricing is very simple, and it's this, right? The first thing I want to do, okay? Oh, what did I do? Oh, there we go. The first thing that I want to do is figure out my expenses. Okay? Figure out my expenses. Now, this is not just the expense of that job that we're going to be doing on that day, right? So like say you're doing a big, post-construction cleaning and your expense for that day is going to be $100 in materials, right? You want to find out what your expenses are, not just on a per job basis, but also your overall expenses that your business has in general. So this includes your insurance. This includes payments that you have for vehicles and equipment, maybe that you have leased or you have rented, or you're going to be using, or you're going to be buying for the specific job. But storage expenses, if you have an office, what's your office cost? Like all the expenses, and this is what we call overhead. All your overhead cost and your individual job costs is what you want to calculate so that you can better understand to how much you're going to be charging for this specific service that you're going to be providing. Why do you want to know this? Because the first thing, by figuring out your expenses, you know how much you need in order to just break even, right? By figuring out what you're going to be spending, you know how much you're going to need in order to break even. That's where you want to start. So let's break that down into a more understanding example here. So let's see. This writing thing is a little bit difficult. Let's see what we can do here. So let's say I spend about $300 in products. Okay, so $300 in products. I might actually switch over to the. I have this drawing thing, but I think we're gonna switch over to the text here. Let's go like that, yeah, because this might be easier. So I have $300 in monthly products cost, right? So this is a good. Actually, let's make it easier. Let's say $100. We save $100 in product cost. This is the expenses that we have on a monthly basis. So I buy my window cleaners, my multi-surface cleaners, my sponges. Having to go and buy more paper towels, whatever it is. I know that on average, I will spend per month about $100. These are things that I'm just using to stock up and have it ready to use for my cleaning. So I know that that's my monthly thing. I also know that let's say I have a storage unit that I pay $200 for monthly. Monthly in storage. Okay, so we have storage units, and let's say it's $200 in storage, and then let's say I also have about $150 in car insurance. Okay, car insurance because we have a vehicle that we use for our business. We have to go to these houses to clean them, and also use the cars to go out and buy products and do everything, do our walkthroughs. It's a work vehicle, car insurance. We want to make sure that expense is in there. So if we add all of that up, we have $250, $450, $450 in in monthly expenses. Okay, and we can say this is more of like a fixed monthly expense. We know that we're gonna have this monthly expense no matter what. The car insurance needs to be paid. We have the storage units, and we're gonna have to buy about $100 worth of products every single month in order to keep up with the jobs, right? So by knowing that, that means that we're gonna want to divide that monthly expense by either how many jobs we do, or how many days, or how many jobs we have like scheduled for that month, or how many days there are in a month, so that we can get a better idea of how much. And again, this is all like estimation, because you can't it's kind of impossible for you to get like extremely accurate on how you're gonna be pricing your overhead when it comes to this. So we're gonna work in terms of percentages, right? So let's say we divide this up by, we know that we're gonna be doing 30. Let's simplify it. Let's say we're gonna do 30 cleanings in the next month. There's 30 days in a month, so we can do it both ways. Meaning 30 cleanings, so we have one job every single day. Okay, 30 cleanings. And so we're gonna do that math right here. Let me pull up my calculator, because I wanna not give you guys wrong information. So we're going 450 divided by 30. That equals 15. Okay, $15 per cleaning. That right here is our overhead. Okay, so we know that right there, the $450 in monthly expenses, that's going to be fixed. We're going to have that every single month, and so we want to price that in to each job that we do. We know that we're going to do 30 cleanings that month. That means that we have a $15 per cleaning expense, or in other words, overhead. And we want to add that $15 to each job so that at the end of the month, that total monthly expense that we have is covered. Okay? And so this is what we're talking about. We're starting off with the expenses, so then we can figure out how much money we want to make and what we're going to be charging. Let's take a look at it maybe from a different perspective so that we can touch on all different types of people from different, levels in their journey or whatever you are in your journey. Some people might not have 30 cleanings in a month. Let's say you have 10. Let's say you have $450 in monthly expenses, right? And this is probably going to turn into a bit of a finance little lesson here for you guys. Let's say we have only 10 cleanings this month that we have booked out. Meaning we're going to have $45, okay? Per cleaning. And that's going to be our overhead. So we have $450 in monthly expenses. We have 10 cleanings. If we divide the 450 by those 10 cleanings, that means that we have to add $45 in expense to each cleaning that we're going to be doing. Okay? So we have the $45, and we want to make sure that that is included into each cleaning. Now, $450 maybe for just 10 cleanings. If you're going to be doing just 10 cleanings per month, $450 is pretty high in expenses. So you're not going to be spending that much money. If you're spending $450 and you have 10 cleanings, you want to make sure that you're actually decreasing your expenses because that's pretty high, right? So you want to be around $150 for this, right? Instead of $450. Now, let's actually touch on this because this is a good topic. As you can see from both of these different scenarios are different, right? The first scenario we were talking about is a $15 per cleaning an overhead, and the second one is $45 per cleaning overhead. The second scenario, that person right there is actually losing money. In that scenario, losing money because your expenses are much higher than they should be. So as a business owner, especially in the cleaning space, you want to make sure that this right here, this overhead, is as low as possible. You don't want $45 per cleaning overhead. Because if you can save yourself $30 and lower this to $15, that $30 is profit for you, right? So you don't want this to be at $45 per cleaning. You want this as low as possible. You want this at $10 per cleaning, right? So just something for us to understand. You want to lower your overhead as much as possible and make sure, and this is why we talk a lot about building a business that you can automate as much as possible, that you can decrease expenses. Maybe don't get the fancy office. Maybe try to run things from a storage unit so that you can bring down those costs so that each job that you do is even more profitable than it would be if you had those high expenses, right? So that's our third scenario. That's our second scenario. Let's maybe look at a third scenario, okay? Let's say, and we're going to change this just to have a more expenses, a more reasonable understanding of what we're working with here. So let's say you're just getting your business started, and you know that maybe this month you're going to spend about $100 in monthly expenses for your products, for gas that you're going to be spending on, on going to these jobs, for the products that you bought, for maybe your business insurance that you just got. Maybe you have a website that you're paying, $10 a month or whatever. If you add up all those things, that's your monthly expense. You have about $100 in monthly expenses. And you're just getting started. You don't have that many jobs. Maybe you have 3 jobs that you're going to be doing this next month. We are going to divide that by 3. That's going to give us $33.33 overhead. Okay. Let me just... All right. All right, so let's say, so this third scenario is for people that, it's more to reflect people that are just getting started in their business. So maybe you don't have that many jobs, you just have 3 jobs that you're going to be working on. You have $100 in expenses. This is like your startup expenses. It's just you have some, minimal amount of products, but you have a website that you're paying for, and maybe you have your gas that you're going to be. So all of that equals up, let's say, to $100. Those expenses that might seem like it's nothing, like a website, maybe the website hosting, maybe, it's not a lot of products. That's still expense. Those are still expenses that you want to make sure that is included in each price that you have, even if you have 3 jobs, right? So this is where we're going to go into. You have 3 jobs. You're going to want to add the expenses into those 3 jobs. You have $33.33 of expense or overhead for each job. But here, watch this. As you grow your business, right? As you grow your business, let's say the next month, instead of doing 3 jobs, you do 6. You double that. And your expenses are pretty much the same. Maybe they didn't change that much, right? Products are still, you still have enough products there for you to do enough business. So let's calculate that. I think we're going to get into decimals here. 1666. I should have known that actually. 1666 is your overhead. The monthly expenses stayed about the same, right? Because 3 more jobs isn't that much of a big difference than your previous, than doing 3 jobs, right? You have maybe enough paper towels from the bundle you bought or the products that you have to do another 3 jobs without having to increase those expenses. Meaning your overhead just dropped because you have more jobs, but your monthly expenses stay the same. Now you're only spending per job $16.66 in overhead. So that's what you're going to start. So as you grow your business, obviously your expenses are going to go up, but your overhead, as if you manage your business correctly, is going to drop per job because you're buying in bulk, you're doing things as efficiently as possible. That's what you want, right? Now we know that how to calculate our expenses or our fixed expenses per month. The second large, big thing that we have to look at, right? So this right here. Let's actually go here. This is our expenses, monthly expenses. Those are our monthly expenses. That's how we figure out our overhead, right? Those are our monthly expenses, our overhead that we have, our monthly overhead. Now, we're going to look at the second, or actually, I wouldn't even label it the second. That's probably the first most important thing, which is labor, right? And we're going to go labor expense, okay? No, it's actually a labor cost. That's a better word. Labor cost. Your labor cost is how much in labor, meaning hiring somebody or even your own self, how much is the labor going to cost for this particular job? Okay? We know what our overhead is, right? So let's say we're going to look at the last one right there. We're going to have 6 jobs, and we know our overhead is $16. And we're going to say, we're going to go, we're going to round that up to $17. Okay? That's our overhead. That's our overhead per job, or our expenses per job, our monthly expense per job is going to be $17. Now we have to figure out what our labor cost is. And the best way to figure out what your labor cost is to figure out how much per hour your labor is going to cost, right? You might not charge hourly, right? Some clients will call you and say, hey, how much do you charge for 4 hours of cleaning? My response to that is we don't charge per hour. We charge the fixed price. But based on the information that you're giving me, this is how much it's going to cost. We price based off the size of the house, what in the scope of the work. We don't charge per hour. Whether we do it in 1 hour or whether we do the job in 4 hours or 5 hours, it's going to be priced the same. It's not per hour. It's per job. It's per the size of the house in our case. But we still want to figure out what our cost as the business owners, what is our cost per hour for that labor? Because when you hire employees, you're going to pay them per hour, right? Now you can pay them per job, but even if you were going to pay them per job, they still want to know how much they're going to be making off of the hourly work they're going to be doing. So let's say you have you hire somebody and you say I'll pay you $30 for you to clean this house. And the person's like, okay. And they go and look at the house and they say, well, I'm going to spend 4 hours at this house cleaning it. And you're only paying me $30. If I divide that up by 4 hours, you're paying me like nothing. I'm getting less than minimum wage, right? You're paying me $7.50 an hour, right? Minimum wage is $15. How are you gonna be paying me $7.50 for 4 hours of cleaning if if the minimum wage is 15, right? This is why we need to figure out what the hourly cost is as the business owner, not for the clients, but for us, so we can keep track of our expenses. The best approach for this is for a business that's just getting started is to put yourself in the shoes of yourself in the future, right? So like there's you today and then there's you in the future that has employees. You want to think about yourself in the future. And in the future you have employees working for you, right? And you're doing the cleanings today, but in the future you have employees doing the cleaning for you. So you want to figure out how much would you be paying for your employees to be doing that work. And then you're going to price your services according to that, right? So watch this. Let's say the minimum wage is 15, but we're going to say we want to be a company that pays a little bit more than the minimum wage. We want to pay, or we have other expenses, whatever. Let's say I'm going to pay the cleaners $17 an hour. Okay? Actually, let's go down. Let's make it simple. Let's say 15, and we're going to look at maybe some other price points. We know that one cleaner, we're going to pay them $15 an hour. Okay? If they go and do a job that is going to take them 4 hours to do, then you're going to be paying them $60 for that job in labor cost. Okay? You're paying them $15 an hour. They go and do a job for 4 hours for you. It's going to cost $60. That's your labor cost. Okay? Let's say you have 2 cleaners and you're paying them each $15 an hour. What you're going to do is just take this 15 and you're going to multiply that by 2. You're paying them both $15 an hour. And they go and do a cleaning that takes them 4 hours. Your labor cost in this case is going to be, what are we looking at? 120. Labor cost, right? We're using an abbreviator right there. The first scenario, we have 1 cleaner, you're paying them $15 an hour. The second scenario, we have 2 cleaners, you're paying them $15 an hour. Let's look at another scenario just to give us another example. Let's say the first, you have 1 employee, you're paying them $15 an hour, but you have another employee, you're paying $20 an hour. Your cost for this job is an extra $5. You're going to be paying $35 per hour, right? 15, 20, 35, yep. And they go out and do a 4-hour job. Now we're just getting into math here that I'm going to complicate. 20, we're going to be looking at $140 in labor cost. So what we're trying to figure out is how much do we pay that employee for their labor, with their hour. We're going to multiply that by how much we think that job is going to cost, or how long that job is going to take. And that right there is going to be our labor cost for this specific job. Okay? The job can be 4 hours. It can be 2 hours, right? It could be a 7-hour job. Maybe it's like a post-construction that you know is going to take a very long time, right? This is where the estimation comes from. You're going to calculate what you pay them per hour, or how much you would pay, even if you don't have employees, how much would you pay an employee per hour, how many hours you estimate that job to be. That's going to be your labor cost, right? So you know for that specific job, it's a 4-hour job, that person's going to be there for 4 hours cleaning that house or that office, whatever it may be. You're paying them $15. You're going to have to pay them $60, okay? Now let's put it all together. And we're going to write this, and we're going to say total cost, right? And we have $17 in expenses plus $60 in labor meaning, let's do the math on this. 15 plus 60, 77. I don't know why I have to use a calculator for that one. $77 Okay. In other words, usually you'd label this as cost of goods, but we're just going to minimize it and make it simple for you guys so that I don't want to complicate things too much and lose you guys. But we're just going to say $77 cost, right? Job cost. Let's just call it job cost. All in, you know that for this specific job, you have taken into account your monthly expenses. You have taken into account your labor cost for a 4-hour job, and we're in this example, this is gonna be a 4-hour job. we know that for this job, you're going to be spending $77. Okay? You have one cleaner out there that's going to be working for 4 hours. You're going to be spending for this job, that's going to be your expenses, is $77. Now that we know what our expenses are, we know where to start from. We know that we need to make more than $77 in order to make a profit. If I make $78 off this job, I made $1 in profit. If I sell this job, right? If I close with the client for $80 for this job, I made $3 in profit. My cost is $77. My profit is going to be $3. Now, you might be saying, well, I work for myself. I don't have any cleaners. That's okay. You're putting yourself, now the profit's going to be yours, but you still want to put yourself in the shoes of your future self that has employees, so that you can calculate how much that labor per hour is going to cost, so that you're basically taking the role of your future employee. Even though you own the business and you're doing all the cleanings yourself, you're going to keep the profit, but you also want to take account for your labor and how much time you're spending there and how much that's going to cost if you were to replace yourself with an employee, right? So this is why this is super important, because once you figure out this system, as you go and price your jobs, you're never going to price your job in a way that as you grow your business and you start hiring people, all of the pricing that you've already given the clients and you're hiring people, they'll just fit right in. Because you've already priced in the employee. It's not like you never priced in the labor, right? You only priced in the overhead. So now you actually hired someone, but then you hired someone and realized that you became a lot less profitable now, because now the cost of hiring somebody is coming out of the profit that you had. And now you're panicking and going, well, I only charged $100 for this job and I'm making nothing, right? So let's actually take that to an example. All right, so let's say we are starting off without the labor. We're not taking account for the labor in the future, right? And we're going to price this job. I'm going to do the walkthrough. I'm talking to the client, and I realized that, hey, this is going to take me 4 hours to do this job. I'm going to be doing the cleaning myself, but I'm not taking into account the labor of the future. It's just myself. I'm present in a moment. 4 hours this is going to take me. I know that my monthly expense, in terms of how many jobs I'm going to be doing, is about $17. So I have my monthly expense there, $17. I'm not going to add my labor because I'm not calculating for that. But let's say for this job, I think $100 sounds reasonable. So for this job, I'm going to add, let's say, $83 in profit to get a $100 price. Right? So we have $100 is what I'm going to charge for this job. I have $17 in expenses, and I'm going to be making $83 off of this job. Now, if I do the calculation on that, 83 divided by 4, it's $20.75. Meaning, hey, I'm making $20.75. I'm just getting my business started. I'm going to price this job at $100. And let's say this client wants to do it every single month. That's how much I'm going to price this job at. It's a monthly price. I'm good because I'm still making $20 an hour. That's fantastic for me. And we can go from there. Now let's say business is booming, right? Our first 6 clients that we have here, right, is growing, right? So let's actually draw here. See if I can draw. My first 6 clients that I got, it's growing. Now I have 7, 8, 9, 10 clients. My monthly expenses is also growing because I'm getting more clients. So I'm going to have to increase that. But now I'm getting so many jobs that I need to hire someone to do the cleanings with me. Okay? So let's do it this way. Let's put it into perspective here. That client is still $100. But let's say my monthly expenses now, instead of being $17 per job, it got a little more expensive. Let's say it's $20. Let's add just $3. Okay? And now we hire somebody and they go do this job, and we're paying them $15 an hour for 4 hours. That's going to be an extra $60 that we're going to be charging for this job. Our total cost for this job is going to be $80. Meaning, by pricing it at 100 minus $80, our profit is $20. So you have your $20 in monthly expense, your labor cost is $60, you're having to pay out of pocket $80 from your business and expenses, you're only charging $100, you're making $20 in profit. Now $20 might sound like a great thing, but what if your expenses go up, right? What if, because you're getting so many clients, you have to get a newer car or a bigger car, right? It's an upgrade that you're going to have to make. Maybe your expenses went from $20, because clients are coming in, maybe to $25. Now your profit is $15. Had you put in that labor, right? Now watch this. Had you put in that labor, let's go to the top here. Here's the scenario, right? So let's actually draw. Here's the job cost with the labor added to it, right? I'm still doing the cleaning myself, but here's the job cost with the labor added to it. I'm going to start off from $77. Not from 17, 77. I want to make on this job not 15%. I want to make off this job about 50% in profit. Meaning we're going to go 77 plus 77, 154. We're going to go 77 profit. Our job cost, our price is going to be 154. Price. Now watch this. Because we're starting off with the $77 in labor cost and our monthly expense, we know that that's going to be our job cost right there, the 77. I'm adding my profit, my percentage. I want to make 50% on top of this. I'm going to have to charge for this job $154. Okay? This is what I'm going to give the customer. Now, even if I'm not cleaning, even if I'm not hiring it and I'm doing the cleanings myself, I'm still putting in that labor cost so that I can get this price. Because when the time comes that I do have that labor cost right here, I'm going to be all set. I can hire somebody, plug them right into this job right here, and I can go do other things and grow my business or whatever it is, and not worry about my profit going down, right? As we can see here, because my job, my labor cost is already in that job. So this is why it's important for you to figure out your expenses, figure out what your labor cost is, add it all together. What is going to be your labor cost in the scenario that you already have employees, and then from there, price your profit. And your profit is going to be a percentage. Some people are going to go for 40%. Some people, like we did in this example, will do 50%. Some people are going to want to do it at 35%. Whatever it is that you're going to be doing, you know that that is going to be your profit. You figured out what your expenses are, and then on your expenses, on your job cost, on what you're going to be spending in order to get that job served and completed, you're going to add your profit to that. By doing it this way, you're ensuring that you'll never give a price. You'll never give a price that you're going to lose money on. So let me give you guys an example of how can this play out, right? I get a call, someone says, I need a deep cleaning for my house. Hey, I want to schedule a monthly cleaning for my house. Oh, fantastic. Let's do that. Let's go out. Before even leaving my house, or before even going out to that house and going through, I'm going to try to get as much information as possible, get the address, right? You have the address that you're going to be going to the home to do the walkthrough for. I'm going to go online and I'm going to search up the home, and I'm going to find out some basic information that I need to get an estimate. That house is a 4-bedroom house, 3 bathrooms, and there's a finished basement, and what else? Just on previous experience, I know that house is going to take me at least 3.5 hours. If I know that just based on based on experience, for that first cleaning, it's going to take 3.5 hours for me to complete that job, I already have an idea of what my starting price is going to be for this specific job, right? We're going to go... no, actually, we're doing that wrong. We're going to go, in this case, we're going to be doing it at the $15 an hour. To give us a price of $52.50 labor cost. I'm going to add my $17 in monthly expense. And it's going to give me a total of $69.50 as job cost, or in other words, you can say it's your starting price. So before even leaving my house, before even doing the walkthrough, just based off of basic information and just estimating that, hey, this job is going to, and you want to overestimate, you never want to underestimate. You don't ever want to say, oh, I can do this in 3 hours. You always want to look at it from the worst case scenario, right? Maybe you think you can do it in 3, but maybe it takes you 4, right? So then you look at this job, you look at this house, you Google it, you get some basic information, you're like, oh, this house, most likely it's going to take me 3.5 hours. If I know it's going to take me on average 3.5 hours to do this type of house or this type of job, then I'm going to multiply that by the $15. I'm going to get my labor cost. I'm going to add my monthly expense. And then I know that my starting price, my bare minimum, where I'm going to start from, is going to be $70. And everything above that is going to be profit. So if I go out to that house and I start doing a walkthrough, I'm going to be like, yeah, you know what? I can do this for $200. Or I can do this job for 140, right? I'm charging double the cost, the job cost. Because I know that job, I'm not going to lose money on it. That job, and again, these are low numbers, guys. I'm just giving you guys examples of, you'd obviously want to charge more for stuff like this. But, I just want to make sure that you guys know that these are just examples, right? If we're going to be doing like a deep clean on a 4-bedroom house with 3.5 bathrooms, and you're doing it by yourself, you're not going to be there for 4 hours, right? You're going to be there for a lot longer. So just take these as examples, and I know the price won't usually match what the example that I'm giving. But it's you know what your cost is going to be, you know what your expenses are going to be, and then from then on, you're going to build and then start adding on what your pricing is going to be. Now, you can do basically just you can do a percentage. You can basically just figure out what your cost is going to be and then just go, I'm going to add on to that 50% in profit and then just call that a day. Or you can do what a lot of other cleaning businesses do. Instead of just adding a flat profit, you can just add onto that the cost for each individual task, right? And then that's just a different method. So like, that you're gonna be cleaning 4 bedrooms for 4 beds. Each bed you're gonna charge let's say $10. So then, because it has 4 bedrooms, you're gonna add $40 to this price, right? So let's say instead of 50% profit, you're gonna go, it's $40 for the beds. And then you have the baths, you're gonna say it's $30 for the baths. They want the finished basement. Let's say you're gonna say it's gonna add $20 for basement, and then you add all of that up. What we have here, $20, $40, $90 in total cost, right? And then that $90 is what you're gonna be doing as your profit. You're gonna be adding that onto the $70 in starting price or the job cost. So you basically found out what your average cost is going to be for that specific job, and then on top of that, you're just going to add all your profit on top of it, so that when you do the cleaning, or when you send out people to do the cleaning, you know that you're profitable. You have their expense, you have their time paid for, you have the labor costs taken care of, you have the overhead with the monthly expenses, and everything's taken care of. Everything is baked into that, and everything on top of that is just profit. Okay? This is the best way to price your services so that you never lose money. Because you don't want to price, don't ever estimate based off of, this is going to take me, it's going to take me 3 hours. I want to make at least, $25 an hour. I'll charge you $75 for this cleaning. That's not scalable. Because as your business grows, you're going to have to hire people, you're going to have to get more products, you're going to have to get a car, you're going to have to get a space, you're going to have to get a storage, you're going to have to get more insurance, you're going to have to get... Your cost is going to go up as your business grows, and you never thought about baking into your pricing your expenses, meaning all your old clients that you have as your business grows, you're going to have to either cut them off or you're going to have to reprice them. And then imagine telling a client, hey, we're going to have to change your price. I know I said I'm going to charge you $75 or $70, but our new pricing going forward is going to be $150. That client is going to say, you're crazy, I'm canceling. Because even though they might be able to pay $150 for that job, that wasn't the original agreement. You're charging them twice as much, right? And now they're gonna be like, that's way too much. I'm gonna go with a different, because you're gonna offend them. You're changing the price just pretty dramatically, and so you're gonna lose a client. So always start off with your expenses and then build off your pricing off of those expenses that you've calculated, so that you know how much you need to start off with, and then add your profit and how much that the scope of that job is going to take. Because then you're pricing in yourself for to minimize any loss. Now let me give you guys an example just to end here. Let's say that let's say I know that a job is going, on average, a job is going to cost me, let's say I calculated everything. This is a 4-hour job. It's a new house, whatever. We're going to be doing the job. I calculated everything. I know that my job cost is going to be $70. That's what I calculated. I know that it's going to be, that's what I'm going to start off with, right? And then I say, you know what, just based off of this and what I know about the house and what are we going to be doing there, I'm going to charge $200 for this job. Okay. My profit that I'm expecting is $130. I'm expecting $130 from this job. Right? That's fantastic. Right? It's going to be a $200 job price. We've done a lot of these 4-hour jobs. But then something happens where we realize that it's going to take actually a bit longer than usual. Or let's say I made a mistake in walking through the house and I didn't really pay attention to a certain area, and it was supposed to be included into the job, and I never I never looked at it, and I never priced it into the job. Now I'm expecting $130, right? But now the job got a little bit more pricier. I already gave my $200 job price, but now my cost is going to go up. So let's say because of that, my cost, instead of being $70, it went up to $100 for this job. Maybe I had to go out and get more products. Maybe I had to go out and buy more paper towels. Maybe I had to go out and, I didn't think about a parking pass when I went and priced this job. I have to, pay for parking on the street or maybe in a garage nearby. And I didn't think about that. I'm expecting $130 in profit. But now my job cost got more expensive because maybe like a parking or something. It went up to $100. Meaning my profit for this job, right? New cost is going to be $100. New profit. Because I priced the way that I did, and I started off with that average job cost for this, even though the job wasn't as I expected, and maybe it got a little bit more pricier or a little harder because I missed something, or there was just an unexpected expense that came out of that job, I'm still good. Because I have gotten less profitable, but my profit is still good. I'm still making $100 off this job. I was expecting $130, but that's fine. I'm still making $100. It's not as if I went from, I was expecting to make $60 off the job, or I was expecting to make $50 off this job, but now I'm only making 10. But now I'm only making 5. But now I'm making nothing, right? That scenario doesn't exist because, again, I priced my job based off of the expenses first, and then I added my profits. And if the job estimate that I gave, the quote that I gave, even if that changes a little bit because maybe some unexpected expense comes out of it, maybe it goes on a little longer than I thought it would be, I'm still good. Because that's eating, I have a nice fat profit to cut out of it. my profit's going down, but it's not like I'm going to lose sleep over it. It's not like I'm going to get upset over it. It's not like I'm going to wake up and be like, man, I can't believe I'm doing this cleaning business thing, right? I'm good, right? I protected myself. I went from $130 to $100. I'm still making money off of this job, and that's all that matters. So what we don't want to do is price so that we lose job. We always want to price so that no matter what happens, we always make money. Maybe there's traffic on the way there. Maybe, I don't know, maybe a cleaner gets sick throughout the job and one of them has to leave. Now you had 3 cleaners, now you only have 2, so the job got longer. It's going to take more time for them. It's like things just got more complicated, unexpected in a sense, but you're fine because you've priced starting with the expenses first and you have a nice profit on top of that, meaning you're still going to make money off the job no matter what. Okay, so I hope that this little course or this video has given you guys some good insight or has taught you something and teaches you on how to price your services so that you never lose money. But yeah, I hope that this helps you guys, and don't forget to go in and join the group Power Growth, and I'll see you guys in the next one. And if you have any questions about this video or any information that I'm talking about in this video, you can leave it in the comment section below, or the best way to do it is in the group because I'm always answering questions there. But that's it. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.